Bright results for Libsyn's Glow. The latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net. Libsyn's Glow, the company's podcast monetization platform, has seen a 167% revenue growth since its acquisition in April 2021, the company says. The product lets podcasters sell subscriptions and accept monetary support. Former Spotify head Michael Mignano's piece about the standards paradox, which we reported on yesterday, has led to some discussion on social media. I have wondered whether the concept isn't just laziness on my personal blog, pointing to Apple's regular work extending the podcast RSS standard to add new features. And RSS's Alberto Betella calls Mignano's article a very naive approach, also pointing out RSS's extensibility and saying it's more convenient for Spotify to foster a closed podcasting ecosystem. Well, Michael Mignano joins Sam Sethi and I on the Podland podcast later today to discuss the piece.
Standards are technically extensible and they're changeable. However, these changes, they have to happen through consensus. Otherwise, the changes don't really get adopted at scale, and they don't actually happen.
In the Podland podcast, Mignano also reveals what he'll be doing next. Spotify has bought Hurdle, a beat the intro type game. A reminder that Whooshka ceases to operate on the 31st of August. Check your email for your migration options. Podcast Sessions, a free podcasting magazine from South Africa, is celebrating its second anniversary with the co-hosts of Netflix's first African podcast on the cover. It's a free download. What's up and what's down in podcasting? Amplify Media's Stephen Goldstein looks at the numbers in a blog post that we link to today from our show notes and our newsletter, and wants to take a deep dive into Libsyn's AdvertiseCast marketplace. Even though Libsyn is in the name, and even though Libsyn acquired AdvertiseCast recently, podcast publishers don't need to host their files with Libsyn to take advantage of this new self-service marketplace. Dave Hanley took Sounds Profitable's Brian Barletta for a walkthrough. And in People News, Rob Roberts-Facey has joined the UK's Crowd Network as a senior producer. He'll develop a new sports division at the Manchester-based company. And in podcast news, the latest edition of Career Crossroads interviews new podcast Hall of Famer Evo Terra.
I had resisted for a number of years becoming a podcast consultant, mostly because I didn't want to charge two dorks with a microphone who wanted to talk D&D in their mom's basement to make a podcast. I mean, you can learn to do this stuff on your own. I wrote all about it in Podcasting for Dummies. Just do it yourself.
You can hear about his career path before podcasting, how he ended up turning podcasting into a career, and other notable podcasters to appear on the show are Lindsey Graham, creator and host of History Daily, Business Movers, American Scandal, among others, and me. Just Sleep Bedtime Stories for Adults has joined the Acast Creator Network. The show will be supported by Acast's range of monetization and growth options. From the makers of the hit podcast Root of Evil, Facing Evil is launched today by Tenderfoot TV and iHeartRadio. It's hosted by Rasha Pecoraro and Yvette Gentile, and a new weekly true crime show that focuses on different but equally resonant stories. Land of the Giants returns for a new season from Recode and The Verge. The new season explores the genesis and growth of Meta as a company and its impact on society. It's hosted by Alex Heath and Shirin Gaffrey. And if you like learning about new podcasts in Podnews, you can now get this section as a podcast itself. New podcast trailers is available in your favourite RSS podcast app. To learn more, get to podnews.net/new podcast trailers. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.